Viewers, a very warm welcome to this first in the series of promotional videos for my book of Kismet and Karma. My name is Pam Handa, knee coacher. I was born in New Delhi in India. I graduated from the Sacred Heart College, Dalhousie, and later went on to the Punjab University to do my masters in English. In 1968, I married Dr. P.K. Handa, a pediatrician and specialist in tropical medicine. And in 1972, we emigrated to a beautiful country called Ghana, which was formerly the Gold Coast. Now, I must confess that my marriage to Dr. Handa threw me into a sea of multicultural faces. I think it was by virtue of his profession that we were able to hobnob with all kinds of people from all over the world. Viewers, every author needs a reason to write a book, and I had several reasons. First of all, my parents had made a huge sacrifice in giving me the best education of the times. I could not let that go waste. Secondly, I had a great flair as well as a passion for writing. Whether it was writing rhyming couplets or short stories, with my mother as my listening audience, I always found myself writing one thing or the other. One of the major reasons for writing the book also became the tragedy in our family. I lost my brother, with whom I was very close, and I found it very difficult to let go of him. That's when I had this idea that if I was able to perpetuate his memory in a book, I might be able to find some kind of closure to his passing away. Now, another thing I've always been fascinated is by the diversity of our beautiful world. And since I was thrown into a sea of all these different faces, I thought it might be a good idea to write about all the experience I had had in the last 4 decades, which I have spent shuttling between England, Africa and India. And that, viewers, is the beginning of my story. The title of the book is Of Kismet and Karma. Now, both these Indian words are found in every English dictionary. Kismet simply means destiny, and karma is what we come here to perform, the work we come here to do in this world. The subtitle of the story is A Cross-Cultural Journey in Self-Discovery. When I was growing up, I was a painfully shy girl, and I just couldn't meet or talk to people very easily. And by the end of my book, I had managed to gather a whole lot of self-confidence. And having lived among all these different people, I thought my journey amongst different people would be the right subject of my book. It began as a book based on my personal experiences. It began as my story, but then it gradually evolved into a story of the whole world. The story of the global village in which we are living. Viewers, I think it would be quite in order for me to read a little bit about my book to tell you a little bit rather about the book by reading a couple of pages from here. Just as life is a combination of dreams and realities, Of Kismet and Karma is a cross-cultural journey in self-discovery marriage of fact and fiction. To the real characters and events have been added some fictional ones. In order to protect their identity, names of people and places have been changed. There are flashbacks, letters, poems, as well as diary entries in the book, and there are explanations of diverse cultural beliefs and colorful customs. There's the agony and ecstasy of a teenage romance. There's true love, the discovery of true love in a tradition-bound society. There's the suffering of a cancer patient. And there is much more that would attract any and every person. There's love, there's romance, there's sense, there's sensitivity, and all the varied human emotions that form the basis of life itself. In this book, there's definitely something for everyone, young or old, Indian, English, Ghanaian, or anyone else who is interested in the twists and turns of life. It is the story of three colonial cousins, India, Ghana, and the UK. The book celebrates the glory of India, my motherland, of which I am very proud, Ghana, where I've spent the best days of my life, and England, which will always be my favorite country and summer resort. As the reader progresses through Rashmi's tale, he will see interesting glimpses of the richness of my own cultural heritage, as well as the wealth of cross-cultural legends, folklore, traditions, myths, superstitions, which are an integral part of our rainbow of humanity. I would at this point like to read to you another page, the prologue, because that would be the introduction to my story. The story begins in India, it meanders through England, it snakes its way into Africa, and finally relocates to India. The place was the jazzy land of mind-boggling cults, where in the past, great empires rose and fell, leaving behind their rich and cultural customs and traditions. It was several months before the atom bomb destroyed the cities of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It certainly wasn't the best of times. The world was in a state of turmoil as war clouds hung over it. A young man and his wife, descendants of the proud warrior clan of Punjab, India's green and fertile land of 5 rivers, were sitting in a small hospital bed in Delhi. They had just witnessed the beginning of one of the most interesting experiences of their married life, the birth of their twins. On a chair near the woman's bedside sat a cute-looking boy of about 4, looking rather tall for his age. His dark brown hair was neatly combed in a side parting, and his hands were in his pocket. The little boy was wearing a pair of silver grey shorts and a hand-knitted matching woolen pullover, which his mother had completed knitting just a few days before her delivery. For a while, Master Mehra sat quietly, as if waiting for some explanation from his mother. Then, without further ado, he got up from his chair and walked boldly towards the bed. He couldn't understand what was happening. His mother had a baby tucked in each arm and was calling him to come towards her. "Beta, come and say hello to your new companions," his mother was now saying quite persuasively with a smile. Suddenly the perplexed 4-year-old started clapping his hands. Then the still dazed kid took the little baby girl's chubby finger in one hand, and with the other he tried to make her laugh by tickling her. After this he kissed the little brother's hand. There was a brief silence in the hospital room. Then, to everyone's amazement, the wide-eyed boy's loud voice came with a spontaneous reaction. "Mummy ji, where did you get these 2 babies from? Who gave them to you?" Though jubilant, the young child was still pretty intrigued at the prospect of having 2 little ones to look after. God didn't want you to be lonely. He sent you a brother and sister to play with. Now you take care of your playmates and give them all your love. In his brave attempt to take full charge, the youngster cuddled the 2 newborns. What his parents must have realized even then was that their firstborn son's moving spirit would forever continue to push and reach out to his siblings with unflinching love and devotion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Thank you for viewing this video, and please let me appeal to you, do not forget to look me up on Facebook. You can go to Auntie Google and Google my name and you'll get everything about my books. Thank you once more.